Hi, I'm Jafari from 8 Skies Consulting. This is continuation of part 2 of the lesson how to record opening balances in the accounting system. So in part 2, we saw one example on how to record opening balances for inventory items, and we saw another example on how to record opening balance for customers, which means account receivables. So as we discussed in part 2, we're going to do one more example on how to record opening balances for account receivables. So remember, we started to use this system on 1st of August. If you have forgotten about this scenario, you go back to part 1 of this lesson, the lesson about recording opening balances, that we have assumed that we have started using this accounting system on 1st of August 2020. But this business has been there before we started using this system. So we set the starting date in this system, that is the business started on 1st of August 2020. This is how we did. We did these settings. So we went to settings and then we set a start date. We set a start date as 1st of August. It is very important thing to remember. So if you've forgotten about this scenario, so please go back to part 1 of this lesson about recording opening balances so that you can review about this scenario. Now let's proceed. We're going to do one more example of how to record opening balances for account receivables for customers. So in order to record opening balance for account receivables, you simply issue an invoice for the prior dates. So for example, let's go to the sales invoice again. But no, before we go to sales invoice, let's see our starting balance reports up to this point. How does it look like? So when we go to reports, and then click on starting balances, we will be able to see this is our report. So we have account receivable amounting to this amount only. When we click on it, the system is telling us we're expecting to receive that amount of money from the breakpoint. So far, we have account receivable from only one customer. So let's add one more account receivable, one more customer. So in order to record opening balance for account receivable, we issue an invoice. So this is a tab which we're going to use. So you click on sales invoice tab and then you say it's a new sales invoice. Now let's say this sale took place before we started using this system. So the date, we are going to use a date before 1st of August. So let's say on 24th of August this sale took place. And we're going to choose a customer to be Morena. And the item which you saw, let's make the issue simple here. Let's put Fanta Orange. How many pieces? Let's say maybe 20 pieces. Because we are VAT registered, don't forget to choose VAT. And let's say this sale happened in Sinza. Once we create this invoice, we go ahead and create it. Once you create, now let's see the effect of what we have just done. Let's go back to our opening balance report and see the effect of what we have just done. So I go straight to reports. Once I click on report, then I scroll down to starting balances. Once I click starting balance report, now you can see this was only 7,000. Now we have 21,000. Once you click on it, you will be able to see, okay, our starting balances for account receivable is Morena Hotel and Breakpoint. So that's how we record our opening balances for account receivables. So the same procedure can be used to record opening balance for account payables, which means we have received the goods from suppliers and we have not yet paid them. So how do we do it? So remember, to record opening balances for receivables, we went to sales invoices and we created a new sales invoice. So the opposite of sales invoice is purchase invoice. So in order to record opening balance for account payables, we simply create a new purchase invoice. So I click on purchase invoice, and then I will say new purchase invoice. Now I'll choose the date before 1st of August because this is opening account payables. So which date? Maybe I can choose 19th of July, and then supplier, let me choose Bonite Bottlers. And what did I buy from Bonite? Let me assume I bought Coca-Cola. I bought Coca-Cola. How many bottles? Let me say 105 bottles of Coca-Cola. They also charged us VAT, so I'll choose VAT, and these purchases happened in Kariako. So that's it, and then I go ahead and I create it. Once you create this report, you create that purchase invoice. Let's see the effect of what we have just done. We go back to report, and then we go to starting balances report, which is this one here. So when we click on starting balances, now we can see we have account payable for the first time as our opening balance. And when you click on this figure, the system will tell us the supplier who sold these goods to us. So that's how we record opening balances of account payables in this current system. Thank you very much for watching.